Yeah, the way the corn dog nuggets really blend with the orange milk coated noodles, it's just really, really good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out what I have prepared, and I'm going to kind of go through the process and show you guys my own like creative influences so that you can see sort of where it comes from. And hopefully gain a better understanding of why I am the way that I am. So this is really like a community, like this is like a bonding event. So for our very first item, we have a bowl of shoyo ramen. Now, let me explain this bowl of ramen to you. It is, like I said, just a very normal bowl of microwave ramen. And I think that one of the things that I love about ramen, and I'm so glad that I picked it up, is that it is really a blank slate. You can really do anything to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why it is just so international. It's a comfort food that you can find in so many places, and I am so glad I added to my repertoire. So I'm a larger person. I don't need as many calories. So instead of using a ton of butter, I'll use a little bit of butter, and then I'll add some milk. We'll throw some milk in there. And it really like helps the consistency and the flavor. This is my drinking milk. This isn't the milk that I'm going to add in here. I have different milk. And so we've got a very nice bottle of orange milk. So we're just going to be going ahead and adding some orange milk into this ramen. And look at that. Like it's already getting like that creamy, rich consistency that you really want to see out of ramen. And boy, how like it already looks like this is much more reminiscent of like a restaurant style bowl of ramen. So you only need you only need a little bit because ramen is already a pretty rich food item, so you don't need to add a ton of milk, right? The whole point is to not need a ton of butter, kind of get that same flavor profile, that same sort of richness without all the calories. So you only need a little bit of milk. If you think that there was something missing from this ramen, you are absolutely correct. It does need some more. It does need a little bit of help, which is why I have a bunch of corn dog nuggets. So we're just gonna be just throwing some corn dog nuggets in there, and like you can see corn dog nugget. So I think the corn dog nuggets are really just gonna give it the consistency and like that sort of like meat-based texture that everyone really loves out of ramen. Yeah, we're just gonna mix this up a little bit. Hold on, let me just try to make sure that it's got a good camera angle for you guys. We're just gonna mix this up a bit, and if you like, you can chop the corn dog nuggets in half. The corn dog nuggets, you can eat them whole. It just depends on what you want the mouthfeel to be like, and you just honestly, it tastes great. Why the orange milk? So I actually did spend a little bit of time thinking about this. I've got the orange milk right here. There are a couple different kinds of milk you can use. I've seen people use the root beer milk. I've seen people use cotton candy milk. Strawberry milk is a sleeper pick, but I think the orange milk really like blends with the shoyo and the corn dog nuggets a lot better than anything else. So I mean, like I could have like, and you like if you're really brave, you can mix and match. But the point of the ramen isn't to get the milk, like a bunch of different combinations of milk in there. The milk is just an ingredient for you to use to sort of balance out the dish, to give it richness without like overloading on calories. Because again, there's a lot of salt in here, there's a lot of fat in here. It doesn't necessarily need a ton of butters and oils. You don't want it to get a little too rich, otherwise that starts to overpower everything. Everyone has their own preferences in food, and part of the reason I'm doing this is to really just like bring out like my creative side and like show you guys where my inspiration comes from, and why I sort of do these things, and how I operate, and maybe you can teach you guys a thing or two about how I can experiment with foods, and you guys can teach me about what you guys do. So hopefully this is more of an exchange than anything else. I don't want this to just be me lecturing you guys about this is how you make pasta or whatever. So I'm sorry, this is just unfortunate. I'm gonna have to put that to the side so that we can get to our dessert entree. Anyone who anticipated that the milk went in the ramen, congratulations, you guys got it. But now we're going to be moving on to the dessert. So let me put this kind of over off to the side and clear some space for this. So it's time for dessert, and this one was actually based off of a friend of mine brought up this idea about how this dessert could be construed in a few different ways, and it actually made me really excited to see. Here it is. We have a large mug of root beer. This is some A&W root beer. Went out to KFC and got me a big thing of A&W root beer because honestly, I think as far as the root beers you can find, there's a lot of like bottles, like there's a lot of like how do you say it, like hand brewed or handcrafted root beers that you can find in stores. But I really like the way that A&W uses their vanilla, especially, and they have very low carbonation, which I think is going to be really particularly good for this. So, if you're wondering, this is a mug of A&W root beer. So, one of the cool things about root beer floats is that they work. And one of my friends brought up this idea of like dairy products in root beer floats. What's the limit of that? Could yogurt work? And so today we are going to be. I went out and I bought a couple of cups of yogurt, and I am just going to see, like, as a replacement for milk, as a kind of a dairy product. And this is a very dairy heavy stream. You know, we brought out the milk ramen with corn dog nuggets. We are going to just be throwing in a couple of things of yogurt into this root beer float, and we're gonna mix it up. And I just kind of want to get like a feel for like how this sort of display works. Will it become like a creamy sort of concoction, or will it sort of have a different sort of reaction, and maybe will it become something a little less appetizing? I actually don't know. This is entirely experimental. I have never tried this before. I don't know what it's going to taste like, but I just thought it was worth taking just like a delve into, hey, how deep does this rabbit hole go? And just try to find out like what happens. I fully admit that I may get a stomachache. Unlike the entree, this is not something that I have prior experience with. So, yogurt soda is a thing. Well, we're gonna find out, I guess. And this is I had to get like the biggest spoon that I could find for this. And you can actually kind of see, like, let me try to turn it around here. You can actually kind of see that there's like, at least for a little while, there was like it was like creamier at the bottom than it was at the top. So let's just try to get like a good mixture in there. And I'm just going to spend a minute or two just trying to make sure that we can get a nice little vacuum going on so that kind of blend all of it together. There's still a couple bits of yogurt, but we do have some M&Ms. Really, we're just going to round out this root beer float with some little mini M&Ms. We're just going to throw those in there and kind of give them a shake up and kind of give it a nice little kind of like a nutty texture with those M&Ms. Maybe sort of mixed up a little bit, and yeah, you can kind of see them floating around at the bottom. So hopefully it'll be like a little cursed a little cursed bro, but not cursed at all. It'll be like a McFlurry, right? When you get to the bottom of it and there's all those M&Ms. So this is yogurt soda. I've never tried something like that. This is a very sweet, kind of like very mild type of yogurt. So hopefully I'll see it. So, oh, that's interesting. It's interesting in two ways. One, you can really taste the yogurt. Like the consistency is mostly root beer. Although there are like a number of like bubbles that have like formed and aren't very carbonated. So it's as though you're drinking like a smoothie almost, like the top of it is like a smoothie where it's like a little more it's like a little bit more solid. And you're really getting like the yogurt is actually almost overpowering the root beer. Let me taste it again. Yeah, you get like a very strong vanilla note, and then the root beer starts to kind of come in after the fact. And it's a really curious experience because, again, it's almost like you're drinking something with the consistency of root beer and the taste of yogurt. So I'm gonna let this one sit over here, and I'm gonna bring back the milk ramen. Now the downside is in preparing this, I had to leave it in the microwave for a little bit. I made it before the stream, and then so the noodles are a bit soggier, but you can really like understand how like these flavor profiles really match well together. Mm. Mm. The milk really. I don't know. Like I know how it sounds, right? I'm out here. I'm being goofy. The milk really brings out the savoriness of the corn dog nuggets. Combine that with the noodles, just very, very absorbent, very juicy. I mean, it creates just an absolutely like a great flavor experience. And when it comes to ramen, generally what I like to do is I like to add a couple things. I like to add a salt-free garlic and herb mix. I find it's a very strong base to use for a lot of things. I like to add red pepper, crushed red pepper. I like to add chili powder. Chili powder is definitely, I'm Latinx, chili powder is definitely a strong influence for my background. And I love putting it in stuff as much as I can. Throw in some salt, and then you really let the variety of spices that are kind of already there take effect. And that's why this really works as a sort of like a home recipe. Because you can you can combine your own influences with the other things that are kind of already there. And it makes such a great experience, I think. Good luck with the root beer curdling, JD. It'll curdle quicker than a float, so drink it quick before it causes agony. Well, if you say so. Hmm. And there's the M&Ms at the bottom, giving me, just a completely different flavor profile and mouthfeel. And really changing it up, and I love it. It's really good to actually transition from the root beer float, the yogurt float, to the milk ramen. Honestly, I'm happy. Like, this came out, like, way better than I thought it would. And it turns out that, like, orange milk specifically ends up being very good for this. You can use regular milk. It won't come out as sweet. The sweet gives it a little extra balance from the spiciness, which kind of rounds it out a little bit. But you can use regular milk. I think you can use chocolate milk. I haven't tried chocolate milk myself, but if any of you guys want to do that, let me know. Thank you guys for coming to my presentation of food crimes, and despite the self-deprecating term. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys liked kind of seeing, how this stuff pulls together. It really some of these things were brought together. I do love ramen like this. This is kind of already like a personal favorite of mine. But the root beer, the yogurt root beer, I had no idea. I honestly thought that I was just going to be sick to my stomach after that, just on the account of like having two different types of dairy. But it ended up pretty good. We had X here to tell us to drink it really fast so it didn't curdle. So I'm really happy with that. And Jusu, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad to be able to experiment with it a little bit, so and show you guys. So hopefully you have learned something, and I suppose I have learned that I have comrades in arms. I plan on doing more food crime streams, whether or not they are going to be this long or in this format where I do something else beforehand. It seems like you guys are coming out, which is like really awesome. I'm glad to see all you guys in there, but. We can cross off milk ramen and root beer Floatgurt. In the meantime, if there's any other food stuff, like if you guys actually have requests, then I would certainly be open to what kind of stuff that you guys would want to see from me. So, I'm flexible, and this was really fun. So, I would definitely love to do it. Definitely love to do it again. I can do more educational. I can bring out some favorites that like are really tried and true that I love, and I can maybe try some more experimental stuff like the root beer Floatgurt. I can probably get more dangerous than the root beer Floatgurt. But you know, it just depends on what you guys want to see. So, we can figure that out as these things go by, and I'll listen to you guys' feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys all stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! You guys can see, like, look, my crunky plushie.